Oh my gosh. Hey, now I have a thing that I do not want up here. So let me just try to clean up my banner. Use banners. Oh, please. I don't know how that happened. I really don't. And I don't know how to get rid of it. Just something else to learn. Just something else to learn about these YouTubes. I'm so happy to see Jaconda and Doreen and Sharon. Hey, Sharon. Thank you so much for coming on. I opened up with a beautiful song called Wave Rider by Chemo Cornwell. We've had Chemo on before. And he has given me permission to use his music, so I will do so. I would really like this instruction to go off because today I decided to show my face, and I don't know why this came out, why this came up, and it's really getting on my nerves. It is truly getting on my nerves. Wow. And by going back and forth, I seem to have lost some of the people who are in the chat. Please come back if you can. I have no idea what is happening. But oh, there you all are. So you can't see my face, even though today I decided I would show it. I'll be bouncing in and out because I'm not here alone, and it ain't none of your damn business who's here with me. So I'll be bouncing back and forth. Wow. Do I have to sit up higher to be seen? I just might have to do that. Let me get something to make an adjustment. Okay, that's a little better. You can see me. So anyway, that's that for the music. Thank you again for coming on. I'm going to keep it short because I do my best to schedule these things when I don't think it's going to interfere with anyone else that may come on. I know Sharon is a moderator for several channels, so I'd like to do this so that she'll be able to like take a break before she has to get on and do this again. So I have a number of things I'd like, but before like, subscribe, pass it on if you feel it has any value or might brighten someone's day. Yay! Well, we have many things to cover because many things are happening. Ricola. All right. So first we have the seed. This is for entertainment purposes only, and the opinions are mine. They're not necessarily agreed with by the people who come into the chat, and I'll stand flat-footed on them unless I get something compelling that'll help me change my mind. Speak compelling. Anyway, the seed of Mr. Ed had her day in court. It's really a shame when you lie and no one believes you. You've done a great job of lying. And yet when you were on the stand, no one believed you. I don't recall the conflict between nothing happens on my channels without me knowing it and then not knowing what anybody's posting. Oh, the channel was some bullshit. Calling it bullshit. Now, do I think she'll be taken off the ballot? I don't think so, because we have Raffensperger still as Secretary of State. He is running for office, and perhaps to try to shore up his support or garner some points in order that he might remain in office. He just may allow it. Plus, I think I've heard or read that there are absentee ballots that have already gone out with her name on it. Now, the irony of all of this is that her attorney wanted to speak about how her constituents would be deprived of their right to vote. I found that very ironic. Since this racial gerrymandering, because there was a time Democrats did it too, but not for racial reasons. It was absolutely political. You are depriving millions of others, or at least attempting to deprive millions of other people of their right to vote, and yet you have the nerve to stand up and talk about this bitch's right and the rights of her constituents to vote. That's rich. He is the same attorney that represented Maddie Cawthorne. We'll get to him. He represented him in his case when a similar group or the same kind of group came forth, filed a lawsuit to keep him off their ballot. And somehow or another, there was the interpretation of the 14th Amendment, which says pretty much that not only you can't aid, abet, give comfort to anyone that tries to overthrow the government. And of course, we see what he has said and what she has said on Twitter. We've seen it. I think a Twitter account has been suspended, but she may have another way of getting her shit up there. There's always a way. Yeah, I thought that was ironic. And then you don't recall anything. Sure. If your memory is that bad, I would suggest you take the same test that your leader took, where he proclaimed himself a victorious and 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 the smartest man in the room because he aced a cognitive, I guess, under a cognitive test. After you get to be a certain age, you are tested. I don't know about all them 24 questions that he's talking about. I doubt it, but anyway, because they, if they're breathing, they are lying. Yeah, if they're breathing, they're lying. And so intuitively, the last time I pulled cards on her, I had the Ace of the Knight of Wands, which I misconstrued because after thinking about it, I thought, yeah, she's thinking about this and it's weighing heavy on her because we did have, what's the one with the wands? The 10 of Wands where someone's going forth, carrying a heavy burden. And it ended with the Knight of Swords, which I confused the Knight of Wands with. The Knight of Swords, saying she's just going to go challenging forth and continue to say stupid shit. And she did. She went on all the channels that would have her to talk about how unfair and disgusting this is, that she has to, be questioned in court. Yeah, well, we do have First Amendment rights. And with those rights come responsibility. So, yes, you can say out of your mouth anything that you want to say, but don't think that it's not going to be reviewed and commented on and criticized. Don't think that there aren't consequences for the stuff that comes out of your mouth, from the stuff that you spew into the universe. From that fetid hole beneath your nose, Ms. Green, the yeast beast. Mr. Ed must be turning over in his grave. He was at least clever. You don't have your daddy's genes. Huh. Now to move on to this weird cartoon animal fantasy that Cruz spoke about it at some thing he was attending. He was asked to speak at. He's creepy. I've always thought he was the uncle that when children got of age and they were having a family gathering and they knew that Uncle Ted was coming, that they hid in their rooms or wanted to go out and do something else. He was just the uncle nobody wanted to fuck with, just creepy. So in this situation with DeSantis and Disney World, the center of anyone who has fantasies and dreams, the center of the universe for that, he went on to discuss Pluto and Mickey getting it on. My goodness, these are kids. Now, I don't know about you, but I hope he don't have any pets because, that was some strange shit to be. Again, attacking characters that don't really exist. A talking dog and a talking mouse, cartoon characters that were created some time ago with the originator, the CEO, the man that got it all started. Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you, Walt Disney. So you honestly think that would happen? You are not a comedian, and you say the dumbest shit I've ever heard a human being say. You want to be this shucks, I'm just this shucks easy guy, and that nasally voice that I find quite irritating. Well, I don't. Maybe you do too. Anyway, uh, he's talking about that. Now, the whole thing is rooted in DeSantis with these heinous "don't say gay" bills. This heinous lie being told about critical race theory, which is a postgraduate study in some law schools. It's not being offered in any K through 6 or 6 through 9 or 9 through 12. That's not what's happening, but it's a good lie to tell, because people that don't, they're depending on y'all that don't know about it, depending on your stupid asses to not know anything about it. You couldn't explain it. People who do know aren't always great at explaining what it is, but the one thing it isn't is to keep children, these next ones coming up, to keep them ignorant of the truth. So he's been on a rampage in Florida. And so this is how we get to Mickey and homeboy Pluto hooking up. I wonder when they will learn that no matter how many laws you legislate, you cannot control and legislate the Holy Spirit that abides within all of us. I wonder when they will learn that the creator of your ratchet ass and everybody else has placed his light within every cell in our bodies. And you think because you pass some laws trying to tell people what not to say, and you can't talk about in the classroom and all of this nonsense, which is marginalizing already marginalized groups of people, LGBTQIA community, Black community, all the ones who are not the color that DeSantis only looks as if he is. His last name says you're not, your last name isn't Williams or Smith. DeSantis sounds Portuguese or Cuban. It sound you know, you might have been born on this soil, but you're not a white man, boo. So once again, when I asked serious questions, which by the way, Cruz did not answer, he was so busy being the juicy asshole that he is at all times, fantasizing about two cartoon animals getting together. It's not, it's not the children I'm worried about. I'm worried about you, Teddy. How all of you are attempting to sexualize or are sexualizing cartoon characters. Oh my God. That is such a waste of time. And please understand, again, that no matter how you pass laws and legislate and try to tell people how they're going to live, you cannot legislate, control, pass a law. Uh, you cannot control the spirits of determined human beings. You cannot. So I know that might be a little bit much for you to understand, but please understand it. The good news is that Emmanuel Macron is still president of France. Yay, Marine Le Pen didn't make it this time. I think that she may continue to try, but I am thrilled that he has remained as president of France. Not perfect, not one of them is. But we must have leaders who are aware of democracy, the ones that have accepted it and are enjoying the beauty of it even with all her pimples and lumps and cellulite and shit, who enjoy it, who enjoy the freedom. It's more important now than ever, and I really do pray that Democrats in these upcoming midterms, whether they be local, state, federal, that we turn out in indisputable numbers in support. Here in Georgia, the maps are really fucked up. They are really fucked up. I pray that people are making a way to get to where they need to be in order to vote, that no map drawn will dampen the spirits of the people, and especially my people. Because we may not show up at every election, but baby, when we do, shit changes. Things change. So please show up. Please show up and vote. Never think that your vote doesn't matter, because if it did not matter, we would not be in this, these gerrymandered maps and all of these continuous investigations into a stolen election that wasn't stolen, of election fraud, when everyone is outed as being a fraudster. They're always a Republican, some in high places. Hi, Mike. Mark. Hi, Meadows. So if there is fraud, it would seem to me that you might want to take a look at your own party. Yeah, do that. Looking, Michael Jackson said, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Look at the man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror. Those of you who actually believe this nonsense, and those of you in the states whose money is going towards counting and recounting and still attempting to figure out a way to prove something that's already been disproven, rise up. I've spoken to people who only want to know that it's a Republican. They don't give a shit about them having no policy. They don't give a shit about how them voting Republican is affecting their lives. So we have to also pray that eyes will be opened, that eyes are opening, that some light is seeping through. We have to continue to focus on that again, what we want, because of what we don't want and what we desire. What we don't desire and what we do desire are two sides of the same coin. So let's get on the good foot. Let's get on the good side. I'm convinced it helped Macron stay in office. I'm convinced of it. Now to Madison Cawthorne, the new Victoria's Secrets model. Apparently, he was on a cruise or at a party on a cruise, or, he's a party boy. And I have to say, for entertainment purposes only, that I believe him about these orgies. I believe him. And one of the tells is that of all the shit he's done, he's got a lot of stuff, getting arrested for speeding and driving on an expired license, just minor shit. But he's got some other stuff, I think, that's going to come out and surprise him. I may pick I'll pick the cards up. We'll see. But anyway, Politico has pictures of him wearing lingerie. Now, I didn't look at the picture because I don't want that image burned into my brain. I couldn't stand it. Because there's just simply nothing coming from him that feels loving and gentle and caring. And I already told you how I feel about his mouth. He would go down on you like he's eating chicken nuggets, some cheap shit, excuse me for those of you that love chicken nuggets. He'd be chomping on you, injuring you. There's nothing about him that's warm and sexy. And it's not because of the wheelchair. It's just because that's what his vibration is. It's just low vibrating bullshit. Just, you know, we can say, oh, he's young. Well, he is, but he's growing daily in his ignorance, and he won't be young forever. And unless and until he learns something, he's, he's just going to continue to be another one of the cave people, one of the ones that just feels like he's young, and he's willing to be used. He's a willing vessel. Of all the stuff he's done, I think I broke off from there when I started talking about him driving with the expired license. A good tale was when Kevin McCarthy came out and said something about it. That was the line that was crossed. Not all this other shit you talking about at your rallies. How dare you out us? Oh, well, trust and believe. We're not interested in seeing. We're not interested. So he responded. I thought his response was pretty decent. He said, let's all put up embarrassing pictures from things that we've done years ago. Okay. I don't know if anybody's going to take him up on his offer, but okay. We'll put out some embarrassing photos. We just wonder how long ago it was that you were at this party. We know you like parties, and we know you're a party boy. That's what happens when you're 24. You still want to get out and party. But no, I don't want to see you in lingerie at all. One of the things that has been troubling to me is the weaponizing of God and faith and religious beliefs, weaponizing it and making it become a tool that people can use to justify their bullshit, to justify their hatred, their bigotry, their whataboutism, their desire to kill that which they don't understand or know nothing about, focusing on our differences, whether it be color, maybe sexual identity, whatever. The first lesson we learn is that God is love. So I know there's a such thing as tough love. However, we fully embrace that belief, that knowledge, then there's no way you'll ever get me to believe that the bullshit that you are pulling is God's work. Because first of all, infinite intelligence and wisdom and God, I don't care about semantics. I really don't. I don't care what religious belief you have. I don't care what you might call God, because to me there is no sufficient name for this entity, if you will. There's just no sufficient name. If we believe that he and say we know that he is love, then you'll never have me believe that this madness. I would have to ask, what God are you serving? What God are you serving? I know in John, I should have pulled up the scripture. Well, I can still pull it up. This scripture, what's happening with Miss Phone? Is she all out of juice? Child. Oh, there she is. I had accidentally turned it off. Uh, it's in John when Yeshua is written and stated to have said, "How can you say you love me whom you have not seen, and hate your brother whom you have seen? The truth is not in you. You are a liar." Y'all lying. I don't care how many scriptures you can quote. Anybody can quote a scripture. I don't care what you call yourself. You can call yourself anything. You can call yourself anything. I had someone say, I call myself a millionaire. It hasn't come yet. I don't know what I did to this phone. It's time to get a new one. So, as soon as it's time to renew that contract and get a new phone, these girls have a way of just malfunctioning. Uh, so we grow up with that knowledge. I remember when I was a kid that we had fire and brimstone messages, everybody going to hell. And because I've always been curious about the Holy Spirit, I began asking questions at a very early age when things just didn't make sense to me. And I wasn't asking easy questions. I was asking difficult questions because I wanted to know. So first we accept that, the Holy Spirit, the creator of all things, of this gorgeous planet that we have an opportunity to live on as expressions of God and to enjoy and to take care of, and this beautiful blue marble. And yet we keep thinking that there'll be something mighty from the heavens that is going to destroy the beauty of Mother Earth, this beauty of this life-giving and nourishing mama we have. We're the virus, and we're doing a wonderful job of destroying it, disrespecting it. And it would be natural. It'd be like going to the chiropractor. If you've been sitting wrong for too long, or somebody been driving stakes and poles and beams and stuff down into you, it seems natural that you would have to make an adjustment. We are complicit in destroying this beautiful planet that we have this opportunity to experience. I don't like what I'm hearing from the far right, or whatever you want to call them, that this hateful group of folks who have come out and decided that they're going to weaponize the Most High to justify their bad behavior because God hates what we hate. Not so. Not so. I'm not saying that if I was God, I'd be pissed off. I would have a sure enough attitude. I really would. I'd have an attitude. How dare you fuck it up and then blame me? I don't like it. And it does go back to the human determination, the human spirit, the glory that is risen upon us daily, that first breath of air, that first life affirming, beautiful breath of air, that first time you touch down on the floor. I don't care how many aches and pains, whether the fact that you can touch the floor, that affirming life prayer that this is another day. This is the day that the Lord hath made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Because we saw how quickly people could pass from gasping to get that air. We saw it in real time, which, you're going to politicize a disease that's killing everyone. The whole world was stopped. The whole world activity ceased all over the world. And that somehow became a Democratic hoax. It'll go away, it just disappear. And comparing wearing a mask to being a slave, baby, you don't know anything about what being a slave was like, because the mask you're wearing would have been a blessing to the women and the men who were masked. You don't know anything about being a slave. Perhaps if you picked up a real book, you'd understand that there were millions of people's lives attached to that. Descendants, I'm a descendant. Millions are descendants. African descendants of slaves. You don't understand it at all. However, we saw what happened. And we still see that while the numbers have dropped, that, and they are much, much better. You might be more comfortable in removing a mask in some places, or I still wear one when I go out. And I finally got the N, whatever they are, 95s, whatever they are. I have some of those. I still wear them. But that first breath, how precious it is. And none of us knows when we wake up in the morning what events await us. We don't know. However, if we change our expectation that it'll be something lousy and fucked up because the car won't start and the kids ain't acting right, my husband's getting on my fucking nerves, and I'm not able to dress myself, and my bra I broke a bra strap. I put a run in a stocking. The skirt doesn't fit anymore. And rather than prophesying chaos before you even get out the door, confess that I don't know what lies ahead for me today, but I will face it, knowing that the way has been prepared in love and with the expectation of good, of God, because you are good. Now, it's not instant, not always. Sometimes it is. It takes practice. Because when I began this journey of wanting to know, which was really instilled in me by my grandmother, because when she began to lose her sight, I would read her Bible to her. I told you about my fascination with my father reading that paper with all those tiny black marks on it, and the Bible with all those tiny. I wanted to know what was fascinating about it. So she put the desire in me to want to know and to seek truth. So it takes some conditioning. It takes some convincing of your conscious mind, because we do see things and we do hear things in this reality, and we do feel things in this reality that simply don't feel fucking good. They just don't. And it takes a moment to be able to chuck that thought out and and feel joyful and feel hopeful and expectant of something good. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes it is difficult. But if I just can only say, if you continue to do it, if you continue to do this, if you continue to be kind to yourself, in our oracle reading, we found out that we had reasons to be joyful, that we must keep our fires of joy burning, that we must also, again, take time to take time in the silence, to be alone, to recharge, regenerate, to speak your desires into the silence. Think of how important self-care is. It's not being selfish. It is necessary. It is necessary. I know when I sing that I know what I'm attempting to give. I know what it is, what I'm attempting to give in the song, even in the uh, order of the songs, the message. However, you don't know what you might be absorbing, because it is an exchange. Music is standing in is a conversation. It's a conversation with your audience. It's a conversation with the musicians. It's a conversation with the music. It's a conversation from the heavens. It's a conversation. So you may not always know, or you don't know what someone else might be thinking or feeling or quietly stating. So self-care is important. It really is. Said over and over again. No car can run if it doesn't have gas or petrol. Your bodies don't work if you don't feed it and give the proper amount of rest and drink lots of water. You know, it is ongoing. I say these things to myself several times a day, because I can't lie and say I don't have my concerns, and my burning desires can overpower my concerns. Someone said to me today to trust in the process, something that I might have said to her several months ago, to trust in the process. So that was some of my own medicine, some of my own stuff coming back to me. I'm just encouraging each and every one of us to uh, uh, get whatever enjoyment you can get out of each moment of each day. Whatever you can get, hang on to that thing, because, again, we don't know what lies ahead. So any moment you can grab some joy and some happiness and something feel good and energizing and encouraging and any of that, anytime you can get that, hang on to it and remind yourself throughout the entire day of how good it feels, especially if you are in love. And let me tell you something, spring, baby. I love spring. I love the hot months of spring, summer, fall. I love spring because it's new life, and all the trees that were bald are now glowing in their chartreuse green new hairdos and stuff. The birds are singing. The evenings are so beautiful. I find the beginning at 4 p.m. every evening, I find that 4 p.m. to like 7 p.m. period to be just so romantic and lovely. Perhaps because I know what it feels like to be in all of those situations. I know what it is. I know what it feels like. So, yeah, I think it's the most beautiful time of day. It's the time of day when people, if they've worked, are leaving work. And if you have a loved one, you're excited about seeing that person and You may stop along the way to pick up something to make a meal. And of course, you got to have a bottle of wine. So I think maybe I romanticize this time of day. However, I like it. And so I just feel it and I'm going to roll with that. Y'all, let's keep doing the best we can to keep President Biden lifted, Vice President Kamala Harris, the entire administration, who's doing a great job but not doing a great job on the messaging. I just would like to hear a stronger messaging and more emphasis on the good things that have been done. You know, we've been distracted by Ukraine, and I'm going to move on to that situation and other areas that are experiencing war. We have to it's a must that we use our energy. We have to flip it a lot, because I know I was angry enough, and I know there was rage and probably, borderline hate in me when I would just see what was going on in this country and how there seemed to be nothing that was being done or could be done. It did instill that in me. And one day I realized that more than thinking about somebody's downfall, which is sure to come, it's sure to come. Johnny from Thoreau's Apprentice has said, karma is a bitch and she knows where you live. So it's sure to come. There's nothing that goes unpunished in the earth or in the spirit. There just isn't. That we understand that, first of all, I don't think we have a clue of what the Biden administration faced when they arrived at the White House. They couldn't even get through the doors. The new president and first lady could not even get through the doors. There was no one waiting for them. We don't know what condition the House was in. We don't know what kind of law. We don't know. We just have a crumb of it. But I began to sympathize with Merrick Garland when we knew that they had interviewed over 700 people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, that's just one thing. And we know that the wheels of justice do turn slowly. So the best we can do is to just pray and continue to see him moving at speeds that will make a difference in the primaries, moving at speeds, because time is, I feel like it's collapsing, and that it is, things are moving faster. That we just kind of send some good stuff that way, because we just don't know what they were faced with, because they didn't have access to anything or all the things they needed to have access to in order to transition. They didn't have that. And then we had the insurrection. And now we hear this word pedophilia. It's a buzzword. When last time I remember, Ronna Romney McDaniel's, I don't know what this person was to her, he's pulling 12 years for internet child porn. It seems that you are projecting people, that you know that there are pedophiles among you. I'm not saying they're not everywhere. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, you're projecting what you know is going on in your party. Taylor, Trader, Yeast Beast Green. So let us do our part to send as much light out as we can, because the real deal is, we're taught that God created everything, he makes no mistakes. Well, then okay. The most wonderful command is love you one another as I have loved you. We're not, this last 4 or 5 years, we haven't been able to do that. We haven't felt that. And you almost have to feel sympathetic to the people who so fucked up and angry that they can't even see straight. That if you were to ask them what they are angry about, that they might not even be able to tell you. And if they could, they wouldn't be honest. So while Gates and Mr. Ed's daughter whinnying and, going out and having a whole lot to say, and all of them, it just doesn't. We have to combat that, and we can do it in the spirit. It's working. Now, Johnny did a reading at the Church of the Apprentice today, and it was about taking a nap. It was about stepping back from something that you may have been working on or thinking about, or just to step back for a moment and take a rest. We are being bombarded with news, and it doesn't feel good. Doesn't do anything to help us feel good. That's up to us. That's our decision. That I'm going to watch just enough of it, and I'm going to step away from it, and I'm going to vibe as much goodness and love as I can. I'm going to put it out there as best I can. And now when we go to Ukraine, they're celebrating Easter. And I was touched by the prayer that they prayed when these people entered church. And their simple prayer was, Lord, save Ukraine. That was their prayer. Lord, save Ukraine. I would add to that, Lord, save this world. Lord, save Yemen. Save Afghanistan. Save the people of these countries that have been thrown into these situations, not because of anything they did, that just where they happen to be. Lord, we call peace. We call peace. Peace begins when we can in ourselves be peaceful within. Then you have a way that you can share that peace. People feel it. So Lord, save Ukraine and every country that is experiencing war and displacing people, and having them live with fear every day. Save them, oh God. Bring peace to the land, oh God. Turn the hearts of the strong men, the Pharaohs, the Sadducees, the Philistines. Turn the hearts. Speaking of heart, the man who thinks he's in the high tower, I don't know, I saw a picture of him and I looked in his eyes, and he is not, he is more than concerned. Sometimes he's a Libra too. People think Librans are these peaceful, balanced people, which, the opposite is true. We can be very, very warlike and manipulative and just ugly people. And he thinks there seems to be this desire for people for things to go back to when it felt like it was a simpler time. Niggas, we ain't going back. We're moving forward. Life is changing every second. We're going forward. Your ass can stay back there if you think you can, if you dig it there. But don't force anybody else to want to do it. That's not, this is the space age. Da, da, Da-da. Meet George Jetson, Jane, his wife. We're going forward. And I just know that this next generation, the generation that's coming behind us, are going to be fierce. They will be fierce. And some of the bullshit that we've dealt with all these years won't be of concern. I hope I live to see it. When we can really understand as humankind, when we can really understand that. So I want to get you an update on the music. Before I came on, I was listening to a video, and I think it was called "Why Black Girls Today Can't Sing" or something like that. While it sounds a little harsh, the narrator, the person who put the video together, was actually comparing singing and singing back in the day to what we are hearing, the new thing, the new girls, you know. It was educational. It was wonderful. The one thing I dug about is that he talked about the hours of rehearsal we put in, especially if you sing in the church choir and singing in choir at school. The hours of rehearsal, the work that's put in. When you get out, singing in nightclubs, supper clubs, recording demos, doing backing vocals, all the work that is put into doing this thing, which has changed. You know, we didn't go on Instagram. We weren't pulled off Instagram and any of the social medias. You know, we were out there. We're still out there. So that a lot of work goes into it. We didn't just wake up and say, oh, well, maybe we did, you know, but we knew we had to work on our craft. We had to work at it. And I had all the experiences that he spoke about in that video, and it was really, really nice. So in terms of what I'm doing, well, the vocalists we got the two other people that'll be singing with me on this project, you know, put a fire underneath my ass, you know. We need to get together and begin working out these parts. So we are going to do that. We're going to call a rehearsal, and we're going to get together, and we're going to begin the process of actually singing, because things really are going well in terms of, I've been concerned about what the musicians are doing and having all of them in place. And there's still a couple of people that I need to reach out to. But the singers are raring to go. So that was encouraging and wonderful. It's like, yeah, you know, this is also the music season here, the Piedmont Jazz or Piedmont Music Festival, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be back after a couple of years. Herbie Hancock's going to be here. I forget who else iconic is going to be here playing, but it's tagged as the largest festival in the United States of jazz musicians, etc. And that means that there are lots of other places that you can sing and get gigs. So look forward to it. Not going to speak on it yet, but look forward to it. So it's a high time. It's a high time. And I want to encourage you that we can manifest at the speed of the Holy Spirit, at the speed, so that when we think of it, it appears, because it's already here anyway. There's a way that you will travel that will get you to that, you know? Trust the process. Trust the process. And the show that I promised you with Queen Tulsa, Rainey, and Davion over at Conscious TV has been scheduled for the first week in May. I'll be getting everybody together on that, and always keep that bell on so that you know when I schedule it. I like to do it on Wednesday nights because it's usually pretty quiet, so that I can watch the other YouTube content creators that I like. So Wednesdays always seems to be like a better day, kind of 6:30, 7-ish in the evening. Seems to be a better time. So yeah, that's coming up, and that's going to be a good one. And I know my mods are gonna come with me because we're gonna need you. We're gonna need you to be troll slayers. I just expect that there are going to be many in the chat. Jaconda, I'm gonna put your. I don't know what we were talking about, but let's put this up. But then you have to understand. We sang behind the radio. Oh yeah, how much real music with complex vocals and song structure is out there now? They have nothing to work with. I guess you do lose your inner voice. Find it again, girl. Find it again. Okay? It never leaves you. It never leaves you. We just sometimes, because of the way it changed with the advent of hip hop and rap and stuff, it changed significantly. However, it's still with us, which is why I still do it. It remains in me. And the songs that I hear on the inside are the songs that I want to sing out loud, that I must sing out loud. So sing, girl. I give myself private concerts all the time. People around me can hear it. Nobody complains. I'll be right there. Um, so keep singing. I had to even go as far back as to recall why I began doing it in the first place, and it was because I loved it. I found a picture of myself at 4 years old, and I looked at that little girl, and I remembered that day so vividly. It was picture day, and I was unhappy with my bangs because I wanted one big roll bang or Chinese bang, and my mother was not cutting my hair. So she gave me a long ponytail and a bang thing in the front, and I remember being so distressed about it. But I was able to look at her and tell her that I am so proud of the woman that you have become. Because I could still I could still feel the imagination of that little girl. That imagination that has given me many, many, many realities. Being on stage, meeting famous people, singing behind famous people, sometimes sleeping with famous people, full confession, whatever. Those things have come to pass, and I still continue to dream. And we are blessed, Chicana, that we have the gift to give. Because I really feel that right now within music, people are yearning for it, which is why Silk Sonic has done so well. I mean, that's some show enough rhythm and blues. That's some show enough stuff right there. That's some real shit. With a younger spin on it. They respect the music. They respect the integrity of it. They add a few touches here and there, but otherwise the song is the song. It's a beautiful thing. So it is now 7:05. I know that Sharon, you have to go over to Johnny, Jen, and Becca on tonight. I'm not sure what channel, but they are on tonight. Oh, let's have a little fun read, okay, before we go. Let's just take a look at that boy, uh, Maddie Cawthorne. Is he nervous about this election? In the spirit, I know that they're more worried than they're putting on, just as MTG, I mean. They're more worried than the face they're putting on, but let's just see. Ah, the Nine of Swords. Yep, that's worry. Absolutely worried. Even though I see this pretty blanket with the pomegranates on it and the beautiful structure of the bed and the nice night clothes and everything, None of that is bringing comfort right now. Worry, 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 worry. Concern, concern. Okay, from the top, we have the Knight of Wands. Again, the one that I mistook. Now, I know that wands are actions. So, even though he's worried, even though, he's worried, he's going to continue going forward. He's going to continue. He's going to continue with his message, whatever it may be. Whatever that is, he's going to continue going forward. And his actions are going to be what they are. They're going to be herky and jerky. They're going to be impulsive because he's that kind of guy. He's going to say whatever he's going to be blurting out stuff. But we do have this judgment card showing up. So for me, that could be judgment from his constituents because he's already being judged by what he calls the left and all that. I think this judgment has to do with his constituents. I really do, because he knows that his shit, he knows he can't be sure right now that they're going to vote for him, because from the things I've read, they're kind of sick of him. So he's going to experience judgment from his constituents. So these cards together tell me that, he's worried. However, his impulsivity will remain. Oops. And that one of his concerns is his election, whether or not he'll even keep office, because that'll be coming from his constituents. And then we have the Seven of Swords. So he's gonna, somebody stealing away with something, looking over his shoulder, hoping no one's looking at him take away some, just take some shit that ain't his. So let me say something. So that's what his yeah. Okay. Okay, this also goes to a lot of stuff he has on his mind, but somehow or another, he's not going to leave empty-handed, whatever it is. It could be that whatever he's stolen or not done or whatever, perhaps that'll be part of his judgment. People will find out what his ass has been up to. That might be part of what brings the judgment piece of it. However, I get a feeling that whatever has been, quote unquote, stolen, taken, it won't be like something. I don't want to say something that's so generic, but it feels as if he's really making an attempt to get away with something, get away with some information, get away with maybe something that's in the coffers. Just let me see something on that, because that one's troubling me. That one, I feel like it's the judgment of his constituents. But there's something about him stealing away. On the bottom of the deck is a Page of Swords, so we'll get some news, won't we? We'll find out what it is. Bring in a message. We'll find out what it is he's stealing away with. Right now, though, his asshole is tight. He's, everything is clenched. because he is not a man that is at peace right now. I guess you didn't really have to pick up any cards to know that. Yes, more news is coming. More news is coming. More news is coming. More news. More news. Okay, I know that tonight there'll be all these magnificent readers on, and I don't know what else I would want to read on except an oracle with a message, and I'm using my moon ones now because, like I said, they are smaller, they fit more comfortably in my hand, and I just always, it's personal, as they all are. It's personal. The first card is resistance. So, what I would say in that, we can look at it two ways. We ourselves could be resistant to a new idea, a change in our lives. We could be unhappy about that. But I'd like to say I want you to be resistant to anything that isn't bringing you joy, resistant to any words that anybody might have to say about you, resistant to your own negative self talk, your own negative thoughts to yourself, to be resistant to those things, to not just being resistant to be rebellious or whatever. I hope that makes sense. Let's resist anything that isn't bringing us even a modicum of joy and happiness. And that might be people. You might need to take a nap, get away from their asses for a minute. That just might be. The second card is peace. When we cease to resist, when we truly let it flow, when we truly take our hands off of it, there's a saying, let go and let God. There is no place where God begins and you end. When we truly resist all the things we discussed with the resistance card, we do find peace. There's peace. You're not fighting anymore. There's peace. Within our peace, on the bottom of the deck, there's growth. And let's face it, we're all growing each day. This is not, this is something we experience. That's life. That's life. So we have to open ourselves up to growth. Expect wonderful things to come of it. Though growing, change, all of that is traumatic. Any kind of change is traumatic. We can get stuck in our ways and resist change. That's robbing us of our peace and stunting our growth. Make sure you're nourishing yourself, and I don't mean just with food. Nourish yourself. Take care of your temple as best you can. Take care of your body. When spring and things are brand new, it just gives me brand new energy and determination. So let's make sure that we are nourishing our bodies with good things. It's I pull up a sweet thing or two. And oddly enough, before I was diagnosed with the alleged diabetical, as Medea would say, I didn't ever have a craving for sweet. I knew exactly why it came into my body And it was because my mother had passed. I felt that my biggest cheerleader had been gone. It was sudden. And I guess I was going through that period of why did you leave me here by myself, blah, 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 that anger of her leaving. And I knew what was happening. I knew exactly what was happening. But because I know what's happening, I know how to combat it. So I say alleged because my A1Cs are down to like 5.2 or something. So currently I'm out of that realm. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. And we must never, ever, ever, ever forget how far gratitude and thankfulness will get us. We must never, ever, ever forget that. It might not be perfect, but show gratitude for it being, because our nightmare might be someone else's dream. So chew on that, marinate on that. And as I close, I just want to tell you to be genuine, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Continue to shower the world with your light, your love light, your glory, your beauty. Continue to sing, Jaconda. Continue to sing. Do it, because it all makes a difference. So until the next time, which I'm hoping will be Wednesday, I know on Tuesday. Until then, I want all of you to enjoy the remainder of your weekend. See you over at Johnny and Jen Lynn's and Becca's spot later on. Sharon Sipe and Carter Mancy Mesquite, thank you so much as my moderators. I want to thank Cheryl. Is it Simpson? Keisha, thank you so much, girl. Of course, Jaconda, thank you so much. I went back up. I think Doreen was here. And are you new, Cheryl? If you are, please like and subscribe. Oh, hey, Adrian, thank you so much. Sharon Granger, is it? Okay. Thank you all so much. I go through and read these things afterwards. When I get my new eyes in May, though, I'll be able to like keep up, y'all. I'll be able to keep up. Uh, you all know I love you, and again, I don't toss that word around. It's not garbage in my mouth. It is really true. First, it started out with me liking y'all's asses, but it has, but it has grown. I mean, I am always very happy to see the people who come over to support the channel. I'm happy to see you in the chat. So, see you later. Bye-bye.